recite the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And win more gold medals.
All right.
Item 3, public comment. 3-minute maximum per person. Would anyone in the audience like to make a comment? Yes, Mr. Denone.
David Denone, 85 Van Street. I would just like to make my usual comment in the way I would like to ask the Board of Selectmen to exercise as much fiscal prudence as possible. I talked with Delta today about a few things, my opinion, and I'll keep it under 3 minutes. A brief economic history from 1973 to present. The United States goes off gold standard, boost our dollar by oil being sold that way. Mr. Nixon leaves. Mr. Carter comes in, stagflation. Mr. Reagan comes in, a little economic boom. But however, there was the savings and loan junk bond scandal, which was basically the prime of the boom. Mr. Clinton comes in, another economic boom. What is it? It is the dot-com boom. No fundamentals, once again, all technical. Third economic boom came about as a result of the subprime loan debacle, which is essentially a replay of the savings and loan. My point being, America does not manufacture. There's no, what I see, positive economic future until the politicians begin to adjust their policies in regard to the military and true infrastructure development in the United States. That being the fact, here us in Putnam are in a very vulnerable position because we do not have resources or very much economic opportunity. I beg of you not to put us in economic harm's way. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who'd like to have a comment or ask a question? Okay, seeing none, we'll move to item 4, approval of minutes. 4A, February 3rd, 2014 Board of Selectmen meeting minutes.
Make a motion we approve it.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Are there any additions or corrections? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? Ayes have it, so voted. Item 5, petitions and communications. A letter dated January 24, 2014 from Wheelabrator regarding the third and fourth quarter truck logs. This report in its entirety is available in the Mayor's office for review during normal business hours. Item 5B, letter dated January 24, 2014 from Wheelabrator again regarding the fourth quarter monitoring report. This report in its entirety is also available in the Mayor's office during regular business hours. And 5C would be a letter dated January 30, 2014 from Wheelabrator regarding the fourth quarter facilities inspection report. And again, this report in its entirety is available in the Mayor's office for review during normal business hours. 6, standing reports. 6A, general government. We're going right to Alma.
Codification, we're waiting for Chief Hayes to get back to us. He is he's reviewing the codes. He will be taking it to his board. They will have to review them, approve, disapprove, whatever. And then hopefully he'll have permission to bring them back to us, which I'm sure they will probably do that. And then we'll keep you posted on where we go from there.
I talked to Chief Hayes, and he said there are some they're ridiculous now in 2014, like tying your horse to a tree and you can't spit on the sidewalk, and so. But they have to go to the service district, so that'll clear itself up. Then once they review it, they'll come back to us, and we'll straighten them out.
Yep.
Economic Development Trust Fund, action required.
We did meet, and we are making, and further down in the agenda, but we have decided to pass that along to the Board of Selectmen for review because our committee is fine with it at this point.
Okay. So when will the entire Board of Selectmen get that?
So we have it on the agenda.
Should be there.
Yep, it is. It's on the agenda for later on.
Okay. We'll cross that bridge.
10D.
All right. Reports and special committees. Wheeler Radar Contract Review Committee. I would like Doug Cutler, our business town administrator, to just enlighten the Board of Selectmen and the public on what the deal is there.
The deal is, we were unable to have a quorum at our last meeting, but we did have a good working session. Based on the information that we received back from Wheelabrator, that they have made a determination that the draft that was presented to the Board of Directors they agreed to that moving forward. So now the committee would like to have one further meeting without Wheelabrator in attendance, and that has been scheduled for March 10th.
Perfect. Charter Revision Study Committee. That is also Mr. Cutler's realm. How are we doing with that?
Barring the ability to get snowstorms and everything out of the way, I'd like to schedule a meeting within the next 2 weeks.
Okay. And Public Facilities Study Group.
I was in at the last meeting, so I don't know what was the
We
outcome.
ended up needing to reschedule due to multiple conflicts that night, so we do have to set a new
Reschedule.
date. Yep.
Okay. Staff reports, Economic and Community Development, the Building Zoning ZEO report, the Town Planning report, and the Assessor's report are available for you right there. To expedite our minutes, we don't have them read, because I think it's insulting for an intelligent person to sit there and have someone read you a report that you can read for yourself.
I do have a couple of
You
questions.
certainly may ask them.
Okay, of the town planner.
Mr. Johnson's right there,
Okay.
chomping on the bit.
Item number 1 on the Quinnebog Regional Technology Park and YMCA. It says on the bottom there, review the gravel removal plan for site. What's the timeline for completion on that?
We're looking at June 30th. June 30th.
Okay. And on the plan of conservation and development, POCD update, it says here there's a cost estimate for the task received from NECOG. What's the cost estimate?
He gave a couple high and low estimates. There was a couple different tasks.
What's
One
the
was,
range?
Don't know the exact figures. I believe it was between 2,500 and 3,500.
Okay, that's all I have.
No, that's not bad.
That's all I have.
Okay.
Now I have some for our town administrator.
We didn't get there yet.
Okay.
On the assessor's report, I was on Winnie Radio today and presented a very, very good report from Randy. This is the assessor's report. And our grand list is up 1.88%, which doesn't seem like a lot. Our real estate increased by $4 million. Our motor vehicle increased by $500,000. Our personal property increased by almost $7 million. So that 1.88 equates to, in dollars, an additional $177,913 if the mill rate stays the same. So that's a plus for everybody, and hopefully that'll be applied to the tax base to keep our taxes stable. So that's the assessor's report. Now we come to town administrator's report. It's on the table. I don't want Doug to read it, but if you have questions, go ahead, Peter.
Okay.
Can I just make a comment
Go
before?
ahead, yeah.
I wanted to update you on the FY 2013 audit. That was completed as of last.
Thank you.
And I will get those copies out to you by email tomorrow. I'll send them to Denise and she'll get them.
The Quinnebog Regional Technology Park, going on to bid on the bridge and subdivision at Pembroke regular meeting. What was the bid on the bridge? What's the timeline for that?
Once we get these documents signed and we get the land transferred to us, I'm expecting that we'll be able to go out to bid by the end of March.
Now, we're meeting, we had some good news, I guess, with the town of Pomfret,
Yes,
as you alluded to.
yes.
Is there anything come along with the town of Thompson? Are They still...
Right now, they're doing their due diligence at their end. We gave them all the information we had in terms of what it would take for them to tie into us. Now they have to go back and make a determination whether they are going to make the improvements to their existing plant or whether it's cost effective over a longer period of time to just tie into Putnam and be done with it.
So it's still in the...
They're still studying it,
Still on
yes.
the stove.
Right.
The fire's burning, but it hasn't got hot yet.
I think Pomfret might be, ready to pull the trigger quicker than
Yeah,
Thompson.
that's too... That's all I had for...
Okay. Unfinished business. I'm glad Mrs. Garcia's here. We have some unfinished business for her. Agreement, this is for the Wheeler land in the Quinebaug Valley Tech Park and the Regional YMCA. The agreements and gravel removal plans have been finalized and should be signed this week, either Thursday or Friday. The land from Wheeler could be transferred at the end of this week. So they transfer land to us, we transfer a portion to the YMCA. The gravel removed from the YMCA will be finished by the end of June, and the right of first refusal is extinguished. So everything is a go. Once we get the land transferred done, when do they start putting the bridge in? You know,
As soon as I go out to bid and I get the
all
bid.
right. You know I'm going to answer that question every day. So Linda, I hope you're happy with that. I was elated when I found that out. Everything was done, and it's not put to bed entirely, but it looks good. On our audit, old business, we had a fund balance increase by $716,000. We have to maintain a 10% of that for bond counsel. And the reason for our increase is, one, received higher than expected revenue from the landfill, and two, lower than expected employee health benefits. So that offset each other. That's why we have a very good audit. And when would that be ready for the public, Denise? Any idea?
Mike is coming to report to the Board of Finance on Monday, so once that's done, it'll be on the website.
Perfect. And the last thing on old business, water supply. The consent order limiting our provision of water from our main water source, the Little River, has been lifted, and the temporary suspension of new water has been removed. Now, the potential maximum of water, 1.8 million gallons per day from the Little River. If you want to drink 1.8 million gallons from the Little River, God bless you. And 1.8 million a day from the Park Street well field. And 800,000 gallons a day from Connecticut water. So I remember several years ago we were in a drought situation and water was being trucked in tankers. I don't think we have that problem anymore. And this snow and all the moisture we have, the river is not a little river anymore. It's up there. So that takes care of all unfinished business, unless there's others. Owen?
Up on top of that service, you did that.
What?
Up on the top of the page 2.
I didn't get the page, so I'll take one. Page 2. We got a date? Well. He's running it right now. Page 2, service recognition discussion.
Still waiting for the plaque to be made, but as soon as we get it, we'll set a date.
And that's to honor former Mayor Peter Place, and not just because he was a mayor for 2 years, he served 18 years as a selected mayor. So it's befitting that we honor him in some way. All the money for this plaque, except the $100 that the town throws in, was donated. I will send an email out to all the department heads because we're a little short, and hopefully some of the cheap guys will buck up a little bit.
How much you need?
From you?
already got your.
We got yours,
Yeah.
but just in case we run short, we know who to tap. Item B, Small Towns Economic Assistance Program, steep grant application, 2014. Discussion, possible action required.
The committee that you appointed is meeting Monday at 9?
I believe that's correct.
9 a.m.
Okay. C would be the town administrator's contract extension. Possible action.
Don't look at me.
Sorry about that.
Alan Podmori's basically chairing that committee. And do you have anything to say on that, Alma, or do you want to?
We're in the we're in the midst of starting that, so, we're working on it. Not a whole lot that I can say, because it's,
Dealing with personalities and
personnel issues.
and
so-
negotiations.
Yep.
Item D, Economic Development Trust Fund. Full selectmen approval and set town meeting date. So I'm very familiar with that. I don't know if all the selectmen are familiar with that. We have Delpha Vary here today. If we have any questions, I'm sure she'd be happy to answer them. It was approved by the Board of Finance. Am I correct there, Delpha?
Yes.
And it has to be approved by the Board of Selectmen,
Yes.
and then it goes to a town
Town
meeting. Okay.
And the General Government Committee recommended for your review.
So we'll need a motion then to get this thing rolling.
The town meeting is set for, if you agree to it, set for March 3rd at 7:30.
I would make a motion to pass this along to town meeting on the date of March 3rd at 7:30.
Second.
Motion made, second to approve the Economic Development Trust Fund and send it to a town meeting on March 3rd?
3rd.
March 3rd. Is there any more discussion on that? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Ayes have it, so voted. Okay, new business. 11A, Quinnebog Regional Tech Park. 1, sand and gravel removal agreement, discussion, possible action.
As you may recall, there were two agreements. One was the agreement concerning the actual donation of land, and that was agreement between the town and WPI, which is Wheelabrator Putnam Inc. And as part of that, there is a reference to a sand and gravel removal agreement. And the sand and gravel removal agreement relates to taking the gravel off of the 15-acre YMCA site. Right now, when the agreements, all the agreements are signed, the sand and gravel removal agreement will be between the Wheelabrator and Rawson. And one of the things that needs to be determined by this board is that for them to move forward expeditiously on the sand and gravel removal for the YMCA site, they've asked for a request to extend the existing agreement that they have with the town. As you may recall, there's an agreement that they're going to remove gravel from a approximately 12-acre town-owned site in the vicinity of Town Farm Road, at the end of Town Farm Road. So they would like to get a 3-year extension to that agreement so they can get this accomplished as quickly as possible. Right now, the existing agreement, they started with their permit. They got the approval on the permit in May of 2011, so they have until May 2016. But just to give themselves enough time to make sure they're covered, they would like to get an extension beyond that 2016 date for another 3 years. So that has to go to town meeting, but if you desire, you can make that recommendation tonight to add that to the call of the agenda.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, someone would have, a selectman have to make a motion, second discussion, to approve it.
Amend the original sand and gravel topsoil agreement between the town and Strategic Commercial Realty, Inc. and Rawson Transportation for those two agreements.
Okay. In the best interest of the town, is that wise?
Yes.
Okay.
We have no problem with it.
Okay. Would someone like to make that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Want to expound on that, or you guys good enough?
So enthusiastic.
You already
You want me to read it?
No one wants to take responsibility.
Nobody wants to repeat it. is what
That's
it
right.
is. What in the heck?
The second one,
Better read it.
just below the resolve.
Right, that's not me.
Okay.
To extend the contract between the town of Putnam for sale of gravel with Strategic Commercial Realty, Inc., as well as the topsoil contract with Rawson Transportation, Inc. for an additional period of 3 years, substantially upon the same terms and conditions as the existing contract, and that is my motion to
Second.
do that.
Motion made, second. Discussion, questions? Seeing none, all those in favor of Alan's motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Ayes have it, so voted. That's going to be on the call?
Right, that's on the call. I'm
Okay.
sending it around now. Second, under this issue is the sand and gravel removal agreement, which is the, yeah, that's the one. It's got the same name. The newer sand and gravel agreement between Wheelabrator, Putnam, and Rawson or Strategic, whatever the name of the group is. The work will be accomplished by the end of June, by June 30th this year. However, in terms of their cash flow, they would request that they have the opportunity to extend the payments to whoever the owner of the property is at the time, which the contract would, the agreement would run with the owner. So initially it will be WPI being the initial owner, but when they transfer the land to the town becomes the owner, and therefore that sand and removal, the terms of the sand and removal agreement would come to the town. So just for cash flow purposes, they've requested that they be allowed to make payments over a 6-month period instead of having all the payments made by the end of June 30th.
Is that with interest?
That would be a good interest.
And what's the interest rate going to be? Oh, I
Very
guess
minimal.
I shouldn't be talking now, because we should probably make a motion first, so we can discuss it. Sorry.
Alan, you make a motion
Sure, I'll make that motion.
to amend the Putnam's gravel sale contract for 6 months.
I'll make
The
that.
payments.
The payments.
Payments. The
So
gravel
it's
agreement would
gonna be
only,
by June.
they have to get the gravel off by June 30th.
Okay.
We have to go, we can't have this discussion.
All right, I'll
just a
second, I'll
Then we
second
can
it
vote,
for
yeah.
discussion. Yeah.
Okay, so, now you can talk.
Well, we'll get a vote on
Well, no. The motion is to amend Putnam's gravel payment for 6 months.
To allow them to make the payments
Payments
over a
over 6
6-month
months
period.
instead of one lump
Okay.
sum.
And that was the motion, and you seconded it. Okay, now
it. Now we
discussion.
can talk. So they're gonna get the gravel up by June, but pay us over 6 months.
Right. They pay us on a monthly basis.
With a nominal amount of money.
What's nominal?
What's not necessary.
I know how you credit union people are. You want to gouge their eyes out.
No, that, no. Credit union's not that bad.
All right. If you don't think it's a good deal, don't vote for it.
I'm thinking.
And then we don't have a deal.
That would,
Uh,
I just would like some sort of interest rate attached to it instead of nominal.
how much money do we have?
There's 105,000 cubic yards, and they're paying us about $1.50, so.
So 150,000 plus or minus.
Yeah.
Now, this would hold up what?
The whole
The
deal.
agreement.
I don't have a problem with them paying, I just think that they should have, there should be
Higher interest rate?
an interest rate attached to it.
Who's they?
Ross,
Who's paying us?
Who are you? Oh, you're just... I thought you were just...
It's not
Just
the-
some guy.
Strategic Realty, which is Rawson's.
Keep discussing. I gotta get the band out of here.
I mean, in the,
You're talking about $700.
right, in the scope of things, it's not a, not a big
At
one.
.5, it's
Isn't that one?
$750.
Yeah.
Only $750.
What is the printing there?
These are your phone. I just picked it up and stopped.
Again, I don't have a problem
Well,
with
the
6 months
thing
payment
is-
plan, but we're not at,
Not to comment on the gallery, but it's not a matter of voting them a favor, it's a matter of they're being requested to do something in a very expeditious fashion.
Mhm.
They're gonna have to, have the equipment required to do this and get it done within that time frame. So they're doing it in an expeditious fashion. The thing is that they store this gravel
Mhm.
somewhere, and they don't get paid for it for a period of time until they actually sell it. So, so we're requiring them to get it off as quickly as possible, and at the same time, they don't have the luxury of being able to sell that gravel as quickly as they're able to take it off. So it's not a matter of necessarily doing them a favor, it's just it's a business practice for them. To be able to
personally,
pay.
I don't have a problem with the 6 months, but I just would like to see an interest rate attached to it.
Okay.
that's all.
Okay.
I don't know what anybody else thinks, but,
Is that gonna delay it?
Yes.
well, you
Well, I won't
just,
delay it if I can get them to come to
Nominal?
agreement.
you said nominal,
Well, I'm saying nominal, I don't know
so you
how
don't
it
know,
is.
so, but now you're,
Well, we have to bring it back to them, so.
So it was signed, it was agreed upon in principle with a zero.
With zero.
Right, okay.
I'm sorry.
no, that's not nominal.
Oh, so it's not nominal.
No, I'm sorry.
That's below nominal.
Well, that's what I thought it said. You said it was nominal.
No, I'm
So I
sorry.
agree with her now. We should go back and get a rate.
But
Get it specifically. Well, how long is it gonna take?
it takes 6 months to do that.
See if we can get a nominal rate attached to it.
How much is it gonna cost for your attorney fees to go back and do all that versus the nominal rate you're gonna get?
Right.
Do we have to have an attorney involved? Why can't we
Well,
just say?
the thing is, we won't get the land because then Wheelwright will say, forget it. We'll take on the responsibility and we won't have any part of it.
So again, you're saying that there's nothing about a nominal rate in
No,
there.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't say, I thought it was a good idea that maybe we should, but now that I'm thinking about it.
So get me up to speed here. We have this type of a proposal because essentially we're asking them to get the gravel off as quickly as possible. And they're not able to necessarily move the gravel on the marketplace in that amount of time.
That's correct.
I understand where they're coming from. We're asking them to strip the soil and remove and mine the gravel and then hold it. So I understand where they're coming from. It will be sold. Gravel always gets sold. It just may take a little bit of time.
Yeah. I don't even think that necessarily would accomplish it in 6 months either, but that's the way it's agreed to.
Is there any penalty clause there if they don't get it done in 6 months?
Can we put something that has to be done after the 6 months? I mean, that we don't really
Yes,
want to
they are
extend it.
locked into paying correctly,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah. The rate's all set in the gravel, sand and gravel agreement.
So what I'm saying, if they don't.
Yeah,
remove it
if they don't
within
remove it in 6 months, what happens?
Do they get penalized? Is there a proviso?
I don't remember the penalty clause.
Okay, so there's no penalty, there's no percentage. I want the percentage. She's a banker.
But you should have something on the back end in case they don't do it on time.
Right.
Where's their incentive to do it?
So I would say forget the interest and put a penalty if they don't get it out of there
I agree
in
with
6
that.
months.
Yeah, I agree.
Put something down there that you will now owe the town X amount of dollars.
We can't extend the 6 months.
Okay.
It's
That's
6
actually
months
more
now.
important than the other side.
Yeah,
think
I
you're
agree.
right.
I
Could
agree.
hold up the whole project.
Okay.
I agree.
But now, does that have to be added to the motion
Yes.
How about amended or added?
or amended
Amended.
Amended motion.
for that to be on there?
Okay. So you agree to the 6 months payment schedule, but if they
Right.
don't get the gravel off by June 30th, there will be a penalty.
Right.
Yeah, there's going to be something.
I
Should
think
we
that's-
state the penalty?
I think that's fair.
Mhm.
You
Should we
agree
state?
without interest?
Right.
Okay. Now we want
If
to
not,
know.
we're going to balloon it.
What's, I don't know what the normal rate is on that construction. What's the normal penalty, you know?
This is a different type of deal.
Yeah.
Doug, what's normal? You deal with this.
No,
I've
there
never
is
had
no
to deal with
normal
this kind of
penalty.
penalty.
No?
No.
Well, who would make the determination? St. Ange, the lawyer?
Well, there's, how many lawyers do you want
Well,
to
there's a
involve?
million lawyers.
I mean, every time I turn around, I'm paying a lawyer.
Well, what's our,
$100 a day.
what's the cost of us having to put back, if it's not done in 6 months, what's our cost? I think that's what's going to
No
be.
cost to us.
Well, it is, because there's a project cost when we're going to be delayed again.
But it's not
No,
our project.
Not our project. The
The
YMCA.
YMCA.
So could you put, I think something reasonable, like $100 a day?
How about if they don't get it
10%?
off? There's a provision in the contract that YMCA is responsible for up to $4,000 an acre for the stumping, clearing, and stump removal.
Right.
Why don't we put some provision in there that they're responsible for that if they go beyond June 30th?
That makes sense. That would be the penalty.
That would be the penalty.
But my only concern is it's not our project. And
It's
the
going to
Y-
be our project though, because we'll become the owner when the land is transferred to us.
That's what I'm
All right,
saying.
We're not really,
Time is not of the essence with us. Time is of the essence with Y.
YMCA.
And if the Y, I'm assuming the Y's attorneys were in the negotiations?
Yep.
And if they look this over, and they're not concerned with a penalty clause for time, should we?
Yeah.
If time is on, you know, the big rush
Somebody
is gonna
has to
be for
make
them.
sure it's done.
But I'm just shocked that if they're not worried about it.
Who's not our,
They have a lot of money. Well, we gave them the 30,
Well,
the
that's the
6
whole
months,
point of it.
so now if they don't complete the task, say, okay, you have 6 months and 20 days, but it's gonna cost you another $20,000. I think that would be an incentive for those guys to get it done.
No, I know that, but I'm just saying if a lot of smarter minds, i.e. a lot of attorneys already went back and forth on this, and at the 11th hour, we're throwing this monkey wrench in, and it's really the why that benefits from the speed of getting this gravel off, should we really be that worried about it? How do we get hurt if the gravel doesn't come off for 8 months?
Well,
The only thing is on our end is that the part of that gravel removed
It's
is
gonna
over
go
the
to the
land,
bridge.
over the bridge and the road.
we need some of that to do the bridge construction.
But I can guarantee that will be done first.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
And the smarter minds, all these guys working, had one company cutting the trees down.
You
and
want
an
to
entire-
table this for a minute, and I'll get the agreement.
Yeah.
and an entire
Doug, I have it.
other company removing the stumps. Now, that made no sense. I.e., they were smarter minds. Until 2 dumb minds, Cutler and myself, said, what are you talking about? Have the same company that cuts the trees, get the stumps out.
Right.
Oh, yeah, good idea. We'll save money.
But they are paying this once a month?
Once a month,
6 equal payments.
6 equal payments.
Good drill.
Is it gonna be like contract?
You know Tom.
Yes, I do.
Is there some sort of written agreement that's gonna be there showing the 6 equal payments and the dates that
Yes,
they're due?
it's in this document right here.
I just hate to query this whole deal on
And I hate to
the
have
11th hour.
have it not moved because we didn't do something about it. We may be the only party that actually has thought of it.
Well, Doug's looking that up. Let's move on.
All right,
Table until,
Table,
come back, yes.
motion to table?
second.
Motion to table that until we find the exact wording in that contract. Is there a second? Has been. Any discussion on tabling? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions. Item 11B, appointment of Republican William Pearsall, 22 Frank Street, to the Ash Landfill Viability Committee. I am removed from that committee because once I was elected mayor, I had to get off, and I'm a Democrat, and we appointed another Republican. Hope you can see this trend of
I'll make that motion.
Second.
motion made and second to approve and appoint Mr. William Pearsall to the Viability Committee, which, by the way, for those who don't know, it's a very important committee. That's the committee that's negotiating with Wheelabrator to extend the landfill for another 15 to 20 years. And that's only going to help us. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? Ayes have it, so voted. Approval of bills, section C.
Make the motion, we pay all approved bills. Second.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to pay all approved bills. Is there any discussion or anybody have any questions on the bill?
A lot of them, yeah, a lot of them this month.
Seeing there's no discussion or no questions, all those in favor of paying for the bills, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, so ordered. Did you find it, Doug?
And yet,
Okay. We'll go to the last item, is 12, public comment. 3-minute maximum per person. Would anybody like to speak or have a question or have a statement?
David Dunn, 85 Van Rail. Question, in regard to the Economic Development Trust Fund, I suspect that it is as given to the Finance Committee with the $750,000 ceiling.
I believe that's correct.
There's no adjustments in that?
It could be a $10 million ceiling, it makes no difference.
In your
Because
mind- in your
it
mind
goes-
it doesn't?
Because it goes to the people, and the people will vote yea or nay.
And the other question is, how will this be presented to the people other than a general posting in the newspaper? as far as the town meeting goes.
I think every town meeting is done that way,
Yeah,
posted in the
and
newspaper.
any additional form of advertisement or public notices?
No, why
No.
should there be?
Because I think it goes to a town meeting, people should be aware that there's gonna be a town meeting, it's in 2 weeks from yesterday. That's not a whole lot of time for people to be informed.
Well, they can be informed at the town meeting and have a million questions when they're there, if they're interested. We had 11% of our town go off and vote, or 8% on a $6 million project, and that had a lot of publicity. So, the cards have to fall, people have to take some responsibility. It's like cleaning your fire hydrant in front of your house.
Public comment over the meeting.
Okay. Remedial reader, how we doing?
I don't find anything.
When does this have to be given to them? Is it-
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. So that's the last thing we have to do today, is come up with a solution. What do we have so far? We gave them the extension,
Yep.
and now it's a question.
And they're in default if they don't fulfill the agreement. Then we have to get somebody else to,
Okay, so they'll be in default.
Well, they're gonna wanna take the gravel off, that's money to them, whenever they,
Yeah, I-
risk, you know. Any yard, because it's money.
So there's a clause in there that says they'll be in default, but
Yep.
there's no
Penalty
penalty attached to that
attached to it,
default
right.
clause.
So it does say they'll be in default, so let's,
It doesn't have any teeth,
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
just like our self-imposed deadlines.
Yeah.
That came on, what, how many times?
So if you, are you going to talk to these people tomorrow?
yeah, I'll talk to them.
If you throw the idea of a penalty in there, how would that delay that? What do you think the reaction? I don't, if I ran these people over, I don't know who they are.
It just means we have to get, 4 different groups together to agree on this thing, and it's already been agreed to.
I'm looking at the risk reward.
Yeah,
it's-
me too.
And I don't see,
The risk
I
is
see a
a lot.
risk, but I don't see the reward of what the penalty would be. It would really help us out, I don't know.
Isn't it in the best interest of the town?
Right.
We just let it go.
Yeah.
Yes? You
I
agree?
don't know.
I'd say, I don't want to query the deal at the 11th hour.
I agree with you.
Yeah, I think unfortunately, we're at the 11th hour, so we
Right.
don't really have a choice.
I have a question. So this agreement is for them to take off the gravel over what amount of time?
By June 30th.
June 30th.
Okay. But they will repay us in 6 monthly equal payments.
Starting, I'm thinking in July, right?
No, first month.
The
Start
first-
taking it off.
Oh, the first month they start taking it off?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
it's even better.
the amount of gravel is already fixed?
Yep, 105.
Okay. Let me throw this out then, because I think this is where we're getting at. Let's just say it takes them 9 months to get the gravel off. Are they still going to pay us, though, starting immediately, 6 consecutive months for that gravel? Or if they don't pull the last amount of gravel off?
This call is for them paid in 6 months.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So they would pay us with not having removed the gravel.
Okay, if that's the case, then my mind's made up. I
Yeah.
think this is
I
fine.
thought they had to have the gravel off by
That's what I
June
was-
30th.
Yeah.
You gotta have it off by June 30th.
They have to have.
It doesn't matter when they get the last truck of gravel out of there, we're getting our last payment
6
We
months.
got
6
it.
months from now.
Right.
Right.
I'm good with that.
Okay, any other questions or concerns?
Yeah, and I'm confused now. I thought they had to have it done by June 30th.
Yeah, but we're talking about what happens if they don't, okay?
Oh, I get you.
We
So
still get
I'm
paid.
thinking they probably
We still
start
get
in
paid.
April, let's say, okay? So April, they start paying us, so by October,
Mhm.
we're paid in full, whether or not they get
Right.
all of their gravel off or not. I feel safe.
Okay.
As part of public comment, can I answer the
Not
same
yet, no,
there?
that's not
when
public,
it
that's
starts?
not public comment yet.
We can go back.
We can go back.
We'll go back. What do you want to do with this thing?
Did we bring it back up
No.
on the table?
No, somebody has to bring it back on the table.
We'll bring it up.
It was tabled.
Okay, I'm going to untable the,
All right.
the discussion that we had about the sand and gravel.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor of untabling that and bring it back for a vote, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions? Okay, any nays? Okay. Now, I'll call for a vote on the motion.
And the motion is to,
Well,
Amend,
we're going to amend the motion,
amend the motion.
because the original motion had some clause in there. A
No, it didn't.
nominal interest rate or
No,
some
it didn't.
clause.
No, I know.
No?
No.
That never got it, we
We
never
never
voted
got
on
it?
it.
We just started talking about it.
Never voted on it.
So the original motion was to give them a 6-month extension
Extension.
and get paid monthly for 6
Well,
months.
Without, okay.
With
That's
the-
it.
with
No
them-
strings attached.
with- And it's, they start paying us the month they take the gravel off.
That's when they start paying.
And they have 6 consecutive monthly payments.
Okay, so the town's not going to get hurt.
Right.
Okay.
All those in favor of that, that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Ayes have it, so voted. Linda? Because you missed the public comment first time.
I did miss public comment,
That's okay.
and I had a question about that. Does it say anywhere in there when they plan to start taking it off?
As soon as the stumps get off, which is,
It's on, it's on.
As soon as the agreement is in place.
YMCA to cut the trees and de-stump the property. Once
Oh,
that's
no.
done, they start removing
So it
them.
doesn't say when they're gonna start.
as soon as the agreement's signed.
We haven't signed the agreement yet. It'll be signed Thursday, Friday.
Yeah, but to answer your question, I think all it says is when they have to get it off by,
Right.
not when
Doesn't
they have
say
to
when
start
they're
by.
gonna start. And it doesn't say when they're gonna start paying either.
First month.
First month.
First
As soon as
month.
as soon as they put a shovel in the ground, they'll start paying.
It actually says that?
Yep, first
Yeah,
month.
first month.
They just want to be out the option to pay off over 6 months.
Okay. See, there's no further business to come before this board. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, so voted.